Okay, here we are in Void Mouse Dragged. We just looked at the draw and the other stuff here, but this is where a lot of stuff is happening. Now, if I scroll down, you'll see there's a ton going on in here. There's the most going on in here, but it's actually a lot simpler than you might think. Just to make this really easy, we're going to comment out a bunch of this stuff, and it's really easy to comment out a lot of stuff. So I'm going to go down in this Void Mouse Dragged area. I'm going to go below this circle here, right before we get to this extra little circles. I'm going to click in there. I'm going to hit /star, and you'll see everything after that turned gray. So it's commenting it out. But we only want to make this stuff not run. So I'm going to go below here before we get to Void Mouse Pressed, and before this little guy there, I'm going to go ahead and make star and another /. So now the only stuff that is in gray is this bunch of little circles here. And so commenting out just makes that code not run. So if we hit play or run and we move, we're only getting one circle, whereas before we get this middle circle and a bunch of little circles. All right, let's X that out. So mouse dragged does exactly what it sounds like. It makes this code run only when you have your mouse clicked and are dragging it around. So the reason that when we click our mouse, let me hit the run here, the reason that it's not drawing now and it's drawing now is because I'm holding down the mouse button and running this code and dragging it. Let me right click to reverse that. Now it also works if I'm just holding down the right click button. So this is the mouse being dragged. If I just click it, I'm moving to different areas and clicking it, we're not getting circles. I have to hold down that button and move it. So we type in the void mouse dragged, and this is we're calling up how this stuff gets made, and it will run it every single frame where that's happening. So what am I running in here? Well, I'm drawing a circle right now. My circle, I want to say, how does this circle work? How is it gonna look? Well, I start out by saying there's no stroke on the circle. So let's go ahead and click run. If we look at the circle and we make it big, you'll see these edges they're just kind of blank there. But if I were to get rid of this no stroke, let's go ahead and delete that, hit the play button, you'll see, oh, it's kind of hard to see. It's thin, but there's a little bit of a stroke there. But I'm going to go ahead and hit Command Z because I don't want there to be a stroke there. After this, we have a few different commands we're making. The first command I have is a fill command. Now, fill is just like background. It is a color command, but it's going to fill in any shape after it with that color. Now, I have this saying random, 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 random. I'm going to go ahead and change this a little bit just to show you. So instead of all these randoms, I'm going to go ahead and delete these or hit Command X, and I'm going to fill this in 200, 100, 0. So this is a lot of red and a little bit of green and no blue. So remember, colors are made red, green, and blue. Now if I hit the run button, we get these orangish. Oh, it looks super rad. Awesome. I'm going to X that out. I'm going to hit Command Z a couple times or Control Z to undo what I did until I have these randoms. So what is random? That's an interesting thing. So you'll notice that this is a little extra bit of code with the commas. So what's happening here is I'm saying that the red value will be a random number between 1 and 155. The green value will be a random number between 1 and 50. And the blue value will be a random number between 10 and 150. What random does is it chooses just a random number between whatever numbers you set here, and it runs that for you. So it can be a little bit random. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and delete these second two bits of random, so we only have that one set of random in here. And when there's only one color in here, or one value inside of a color thing for a fill, it will give us black and white or a grayscale. So I'm going to hit the play button to run this, and now when I move around, it'll give us this kind of either white or dark version of it. Alright, so I'm going to hit Control Z a couple times to go back to this original random, random, random. And that is why when we hit play or run, we're getting these various colors that all have this kind of pinkish, bluish, purplish area. You know, we're not seeing a lot of greens. We're not seeing a lot of full-on reds. A lot of pinkish, purplish, and bluish. And that's because the random things that we're making the most are the red, 1 through 155, the green, 1 through 150, and the blue, 10 through 150. So after that, we're using a blend mode. Now, blend modes blend any image below something with the image above it. So if I have a red circle and a green circle, it will blend their colors together in a specific way. This one is set to add, and that adds the brightness of it together. And that's why when we hit the run button and we move this around, if they're overlapping, you'll see they get brighter. But if they're not, when they're not overlapping, they stay kind of dimmer or darker. But the more I move it, the brighter it gets. Because what it's doing, and I'm right-clicking again to get to this next screen, is it's adding the lighter values of these together, and the lighter things get, and the more they add together, the more they become white. Yeah, so that's what add does. But there's other ones too, like multiply. I'm going to go ahead and just highlight this add, and hold down Shift and type in multiply. M-U-L-T-I-P-L-Y, and you'll see it turns green, meaning that's a thing, but it has to be in all caps. This will do it the opposite. This will make it darker. So, we can't see it. Let's hit the right. So we can see this as it goes, as they get on top of each other, it's darker and darker and blacker until it's all darkness. And so that's the way it's doing that. Now there's a bunch of these that you can look up on the processing website that are really, really cool. In fact, let's just really quickly show you that. I'm going to hit my Chrome. I'm going to go to processing.org. And you'll see there's something called references on here. When you get to the references, these are all the different kinds of code that can be made. So I'm going to hit Command F on my keyboard, and I'm going to find blend. There we go. Pixels, blend mode. If I click on that, you'll see it'll tell us all the different blend modes we can do. Blend, add, subtract, darkest, lightest, multiply, screen, replace. Go ahead and play with some of those. It's pretty fun. Once you do that, we're going to talk about this. You know what? Let's finish this section off and then we'll move on. So right here is where we're actually declaring our shape, our circle. We're saying we are drawing a circle. Hey y'all, circle being drawn. Now, I'm going to go ahead and change this multiply back to add. Whoops, ADD, you know me. So this is saying we're going to draw a circle. Now we have to decide where the circle is. So where the circle is on screen, mouse X and mouse Y. Mouse X is saying where our mouse is on the horizontal. Y is saying on the vertical. And then we're saying how big is the circle, and that's where we have the speed size. So when we run this and we drag, we're drawing a circle where the mouse is, X and Y, and its size is based on the speed. If I X this out and I say circle, we'll make it, instead of mouse X, I'm going to make it width divided by 2. So this is how wide it is, and half of that. So this will be the center. Width divided by 2 will be the middle of it, and mouse Y, instead of that, I'm going to make it 200. Whoop, yep, 200, and the size, I'm going to make the size of the circle 100. Let's go ahead and hit the play button or the run button, and you'll see it's just always going to draw it in the same place. It doesn't matter where my mouse moves because we said it's going to be here. So this is why, exit out, I'm going to go back and change that width divided by 2 to MOUSE, capital mouse X for the horizontal. I'm going to go to MOUSE, capital Y, and I'll leave that 100 so we can see it at the same size. I'll hit the run button, and now it's drawing it always where the mouse X and Y is in here. All right, let's X that out. And now I'm going to go back into, for this value being the size, I'm going to say speed, capital S-I-Z-E. And that's referring to this variable value where we're holding the size based on this actual equation we created earlier. We're referencing this. We're referencing this here, and we're referencing it here. And we're referencing it here first, and then this, because it goes from top to bottom when it renders out code. So let's hit the run button again. You can see we're getting that speed size. All right, I'm going to go ahead and come to this comment out that we made here and delete this, and go to the comment out that we made here and delete that. So we're back to our starting point. So if you see a whole bunch of cool stuff there, nice. Go ahead and play for a little bit, experiment a little bit, and then we're going to come back and we're going to look at what I did with these extra circles here. See you in the next video.